Welcome! I am Emir and let's travel back through time. I am angry. I'm really angry. And I wanted to make an angry video on Back to the Future Part 1. Yes, I'm calling it that. I wanted to do something that was similar to Sideways video on the music in the live-action Disney remakes. The script was already done. I already marked the parts where I would scream in agony, in pain. But then, I realized. 1. It's been done to death. You have the angry video game nerd, and the nostalgia critic, and a generation of content creators inspired by them. 2. It's hard to listen and to believe someone who's always angry, non-stop. Better let cooler heads prevail. 3. Lastly, and more importantly, the point of this show is for me to be myself. There's no disconnect between the actual me and the me that you see on your screen. If you know me, then you'll say that I'm never angry. Sad? Yes. Disappointed? Maybe. Hurt? Definitely. But fuming mad? No, that's not me. I'm not playing a character here. I'm not like Steve from Blue's Clues. What you see is what you get. Honest to goodness. So, I decided to rewrite the script and to make my take on the movie, well, me. I know the Bobs said that they won't agree to a reboot, a remake, or a continuation of the Back to the Future trilogy. But that hasn't stopped fanfiction and other projects expanding the universe of Back to the Future, like the game and the animated show, both of which I've never seen yet. Back to the Future isn't the first time travel movie, and spoilers, it won't be the last. Eventually, I bet Universal will say, "Hey, we want to bring Back to the Future to a new generation." Probably to cash in on 80s nostalgia while it's still hot. Or worse, to unleash a new wave of 80s glory. New wave 80s, pun intended. So, my dear viewer, consider this video as a guide how not to remake Back to the Future Part 1. Spoilers are unavoidable. You have been warned. First, you don't show why Marty and Doc are friends. No backstory, not even a one-line explanation. Look, I love seeing these two on screen as much as the next person does. The letter in Part 3, where 1985 Doc, says goodbye to Marty, is heartwarming. But the two have nothing in common. One is a teenager, the other is an old man. One is an aspiring rock star, the other is an inventor. One at least has a family and even a girlfriend. The other is all alone. Well, he has a dog. In reality, if I were Marty, I'd stay the bojo away from Doc. I'd stay the toot away from Doc. Stranger danger. Even Strickland, the principal of Marty's high school, warns him. Am I to understand that you are still hanging around with Dr. Emmett Brown McFly? Let me give you a nickel's worth of advice, young man. This so-called Dr. Brown is dangerous. He's a real nutcase. You hang around with him, you're gonna end up in big trouble. But you know what? Why fix what isn't broken? Just allow suspension of disbelief to work its magic. Second, you don't give Marty's dream a logical conclusion. You see, he wants to become a rock star. But the world seems to shun him. Principal Strickland dissuades Marty. I noticed your band is on the roster for the dance auditions after school today. Why even bother, McFly? You don't have a chance. You're too much like your old man. No McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley. Yeah? Well, history's gonna change. The judges, however, think otherwise. They reject Marty and his band for being, quote-unquote, too darn loud. Let's jump to number 3 first. I'll go back to number 2 later. Third, you don't tie the power of love into the story. You just leave this song, which has a good message on its own, to play in the movie without any rhyme or reason whatsoever. You don't tie the lyrics into what's happening. You just have Marty play it and then get yelled at for being, quote-unquote, too darn loud. Am I right, Huey Lewis? Back to number 2. Marty's dream of becoming a rock star, which everyone keeps shutting down. The only one supportive is Jennifer, Marty's girlfriend, who is not Elizabeth Shue. Jennifer tries to convince Marty to send his demo tape in, but Marty can't handle any more rejections. Nah, I just don't think I'm cut out for music. But Marty, you're good, you're really good. It's like Doc always saying, yeah, I know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. But once Marty goes back in time, his rockstar dreams are never mentioned again. Oh, I don't mean the sequels. Parts 2 and 3 tie Marty's dreams of becoming a rock star with his being so triggered by the word chicken. But what if the Part 1 remake never leads to a sequel? Do we just leave Marty's dream hanging? Apparently yes, because Part 1 does. And everything seems fine. Why fix what isn't broken? I mean, I guess to the movie's credit, having Marty play Johnny B. Good boosts his self-confidence. But he got a bit too carried away. I mean, Strickland uncovers his ears twice. Once Marty returns to 1985, we see him holding an envelope. Does it contain his demo tape? Does he send it in? No. It would have been satisfying to see Marty take baby steps towards fulfilling his dream. Don't you just want to see the underdog prevail after all he's been through? Don't you just want to see the underdog stand up to rise? There's a good lesson there. Never gonna give you up. Together forever and never to part. Together forever with you. And don't you know I would move heaven and earth to be together forever with you. But hey, that's just me. Back to the Future Part 1 became the highest grossing movie of 1985, but did not give a lobo to Marty's dream. But did not give a toot to Marty's dream. The movie assumes we don't care anymore by the end. So this whole plot point is one. Third. Fourth. You don't give Marty common sense. He complains that he's late for school because Doc's clocks are 25 minutes late. Okay, as an aside, Doc, why would you do that? He mentions an experiment, but he doesn't explain. Is this to make sure that Doc and Einstein's clocks are perfectly synchronized later in the movie? If yes, then why do it at your house when no one's there? Einstein's with you, right? It's never explained really. Just makes Doc look like an asshole. Nah, I'm saving that gif for later. Back to Marty. Dude, you have a watch. We hear it beep later in 1955. Why don't you double check the time with your watch? But who cares? I'm just nitpicking. Fifth, you don't replace the DeLorean. Even if that hunk of metal is a very unreliable car. Which the movie is even aware of. There's a reason the DeLorean Motor Company is no longer around. It wasn't even in business anymore when Part 1 came out. But you know what? The DeLorean looks cool. Don't touch it. Tachino likey. Sixth, you don't take Einstein, the dog, out of the DeLorean. He still must be the world's first time traveler. PETA may complain, but hey, the internet loves dogs. Who's the cutest puppy? Who's the cutest puppy? Wait a minute. I don't like dogs. Why will I force myself to be like everyone else? Why won't I be true to who I am? Seventh, you don't call gigawatts gigawatts. Even if giga is the right way of saying it. 1.21 gigawatts just does not have the same ring to it. Giga rolls and leads to a good remix. Eighth, you don't hide the identities or nationalities of the terrorists who Doc rip off for plutonium, which is required to make time travel possible. Racism, discrimination, xenophobia, who cares? Stereotypes are fun. First, you don't show why Marty and Doc are friends. Second, you don't give Marty's dream a logical conclusion. Third, you don't tie the power of love into the story. Fourth, you don't give Marty common sense. Fifth, you don't replace the DeLorean. Sixth, you don't take Einstein, the dog, out of the DeLorean. Seventh, you don't call gigawatts gigawatts. Eighth, you don't hide the identities or nationalities of the terrorists who Doc rip off